Hi, this is Jason Townsend from the podcast I Told My Hairdresser, and you're listening to Trendy with Kim Allison.
Welcome to another episode of Trendy with Kim Allison. Now listen, we don't find hair, hair finds us. And today we've got someone who doesn't just talk about the industry. He's seen what really happens, not just behind the chair, but where all the bodies are buried, I say, behind the scenes. I have Jason Townsend. He is here with us, host of I Told My Hairdresser, the podcast. Jason, welcome to Trendy with Kim Allison. How are you?
Oh my God, I'm so good. I'm so happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing good. And we talked a little bit about your background. So, as I ask every guest, how did hair find you? Because I'm convinced no one's looking for hair, it just finds us somehow.
I grew up in my mom's hair salon. So my mom is a hairdresser. She did it for 47 years, 81. I actually had her on my show not that long ago. Talking about it. Yeah, she was a great guest.
I'm going to go back
and
I'm going to go back and listen to that one.
And the salon was down the street from my high school, and I used to go after school and hang out. And then I was also like the janitor afterwards. So I was the one cleaning up all the perm rods and, cleaning all the brushes out and everything. And that was me. I used to get a dime per bowl of perm rods and then a quarter for a bucket of hairbrushes, pulling out all the hair. And that's how I got paid after school sometime until I got a real job. But that's when I was like 13 years old. And then when I got out of high school, I started going to college. I'm dyslexic. So
am I.
School was not ready for dyslexia back then. They just said like, oh, you're not applying yourself. And so I wasn't doing very well. My mom goes, why don't you try doing hair? And I went to hair school, and here we are 33 years later, still doing hair.
I love that. I'm still doing hair too, going into year 30. I'm not done with it yet. I know that people kind of force us to be done with it once we reach a certain age, I think, but I'm not done. So I'm still going to do it.
I'm not done either.
All right.
You worked for Toni and Guy. I worked for Toni. Yep. And let me tell you, up until he passed away, I remember going to visit him. I still worked with him up until like 5 years ago, and he passed away just before that.
Aww.
And he was still coming to the salon doing hair.
Wow.
I mean, he was like well into his 60s, you know what I mean? Still, and not because he owned it, it's because he loved it.
Yes.
And that's the thing. You have to have that passion in this industry. You can't just come in and look at it as a paycheck.
It's true.
If you do, you're not going to get very far.
It's very 100% true. And I love that we share that background and that you have so many more stories than I do, which I have I have a treat for you guys. We're going to get into a little bit of that. But Jason, your whole brand is built on exposing what happens behind the chair. That's Shit My Hairdresser Told Me, the podcast. But I want to go...
Shit I Told My Hairdresser. Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
But I want to go deeper than just client stories today, because when we spoke, you said some things that honestly made me question my entire foundation in this industry. And as you said, I come from Toni and Guy, as do you. I was trained. I was loyal. I was a top performer. I believed in this company, like wholheartedly. So let me ask you this.
You want to get in the weeds? You
I
want
do.
To get in the weeds with me?
Let me ask.
Let's get in the weeds.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you this because just like what you guys just heard, you're bold, and I know you're going to give it to me straight. So on your podcast, are you exposing an industry that doesn't want to be exposed? And I'm going to go a step further because we love to pry on this podcast. What's something you actually saw behind the scenes that made you realize everything wasn't what it seemed?
You want to know what? As far as I don't think people get into this to go through and not like that there's like some weird thing, a cabal or something like that within the hairdressing industry. It kind of evolves when the money comes. And as soon as the money starts rolling in, that's when the greed starts. And then they really start pushing it. And they all of a sudden, they don't care about you anymore. They don't care about the hairdresser. It's about what can we make these hairdressers do to make us more money? Yeah. And when I worked for the company, that's what it was about. It was
Mhm.
about pleasing the distributors any possible way that we could to make sure that they pushed even harder to sell more. And they got us to go out and sell for them. And that's, I think, a lot of what it is, you know? So I don't think that it's more of like exposing like a deeper alternative. You know what I mean? I think it's more of what happens when the first 100,000, first million comes in,
Mm.
you know, and
Mhm.
how far are you willing to push it from that point? Because a lot of these companies pushed it,
Mhm.
you know. And one of the things that when I remember when I first started doing hair or doing the shows and then doing the photo shoots and really working with the guys that were higher up, you know, when I was working with, you know, I'm not going to mention his name, but, you know, basically like Anthony Moscolo told me one time, he goes, we are doing a photo shoot and I put the amount of product, I put a little bit of product in my hand I was going to use in the girl's hair. And he goes, what are you doing? Stop everything. And he comes over and he loads my hand full of product. He'll shoot that. That's what you shoot. Shoot that amount of product inside his hand. He's all, I'm here to sell shampoo.
I mean, good point
And
from a branding
I
perspective.
I get it, but I'm like, that's not what we use.
It's
That's
not
not how it's
honest.
the hair's gonna look terrible. Right. But you're selling that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
people think that's how much I need to use when that's not the truth.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
use that much, it's not going to work, or you're just overloading the hair and the hair is going to look garbage, like garbage.
Yeah.
And that's where people make the mistakes.
Yeah, yeah, I see that. And that becomes a real conversation, and we can dive deeper because this is what you're talking about is, this is going to be a loaded statement, so stay with me. Do you think some of these big brands like education product lines, all of it, are built more on
Mhm.
perception than they are truth? Because from the outside looking in, it feels like success in this industry is tied to the brand you're aligned with, the stage you're on, the name behind you, more than what's actually happening behind the chair, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why every single one of them have a massive marketing team.
Uh huh.
You know, I mean, when a product comes out, it's not like, oh, we went through and we made this product for you for someone who had cancer or whatever
Yeah.
the, you know, the narrative really is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What it was is that you had these chemists who are like, oh, by the way, we made a shampoo that doesn't have like any type of like parabens in it.
Right.
So what did a marketing person do? Bump, 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 bump. You know, Googled keratins. Oh, or parabens. Parabens are in plastics. That's a cancer causing agent. That's where we're going to go with this.
Yes.
So they go through and they find the narrative that has a sticking point, and then they
Mm-hmm.
sell that, you know, with that narrative. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's why, oh, well, here's what we're going to tell the owner of this product line. We have this new shampoo. You have a friend that had cancer, didn't you? Well, who the fuck didn't have a friend that had cancer?
I
Well,
know.
we made it for them.
True.
So that's where we go with this.
Oh
You know,
gosh. Yes. 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 I mean, the deception of it all. I feel like, here we are working toward all these goals and these higher heights, if you will, because it was very competitive back then. And you were really,
yeah.
as a stylist, from a stylist perspective, because I was all up in it, we were really just being sold an identity in the end. Is that fair to say?
In a way, you kind of were, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it's, I guess the best way to think about it is that whenever you're a hairdresser, you work behind the chair, whenever a client
Hmm.
comes and they start saying like, hey, I was reading about not shampooing my hair so for like once a week. Hey, I was like told I shouldn't be doing this. Where were they told that? Online. They were told
I
that in a
know.
magazine. You
Hmm.
know, when they're saying I shouldn't be going through and shampooing my hair except for once a week, what are they trying to sell you? Think of the marketing on that. They're trying to sell you a dry shampoo. They're trying to sell you like whatever new product they came out with. And so they go through and they tell this hairdresser, some celebrity hairdresser, hey, we're going to pay you, you know,
Hmm.
$20,000 if you say this.
To make this a
And
fact.
then
Yeah.
make it a fact. And then it's backed up. You know what I mean? So you're part of that whole marketing scheme. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like if it's an idea, then they're pushing a propaganda. You know what I mean? Because that's the difference between propaganda and marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing is to
Yeah.
sell you a product, and propaganda is to sell you an idea. You know
That
what I
is
mean?
true.
So it's like, where do those lines blur when it comes to this industry?
It's true. I feel like I see that a lot with food. Like marketing or breakfast was just a doctor and somebody wanting to
Yeah.
sell breakfast products that got together
Dr.
and
Kellogg.
decided that
Yeah.
breakfast is necessary. So, speaking of, you mentioned celebrity hairdressers, and have you ever sat in a room full of top stylists, celebrity hairdressers, people that thought they were the shit, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. Like, did you ever think to yourself, they really think they've made it, but if they only knew? Like, don't you think some really didn't know? I feel like I bought into all of it. I didn't even know I was being sold an identity. I didn't know. I thought I was working for greatness.
The trick is to make you believe that without them, you're nothing.
Correct.
And I have found that without them, I'm everything, and you have to go through and make your own
Preach.
path. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It's such bullshit. These companies, they kind of think like they're like, the Godfather. You know what I mean? It's like, without us, it's like they're nothing without me. I am the top of the heap. No, you're definitely not. We don't need you.
You,
They don't want you to know that.
right. Because
But
and I learned that.
that's what they dream. That's what they wanted.
Oh
They
yeah.
wanted you to think
It
that
worked.
we work for the same company.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It did
Yep.
work. We drank the Kool-Aid.
It took leaving before I realized I was in a cult. I was like, "What is this? I can't just leave?"
You took
Like,
the words out of my
I
mouth
literally
because
gave you
yes,
notice so that I could leave, and I had to leave the way I saw you do people prior to me who were more
yeah,
loyal to you than I was. You F them, honestly.
yeah,
So,
oh, totally,
I wasn't gonna do that. So, I did it as, as considerate as you created. You set that precedent, right? So,
correct.
but when we left, the amount of people that weren't allowed to speak to us anymore, that still worked there, they were just in awe, like, "Oh my god, you're leaving?" Like, they were just floored. Like, "What will
Yeah,
you ever do from here?"
I had he was kind of like the vice president of the kind of company at the time, kind of that kind of feeling to it. But he also owned all the California salons.
Mhm.
And when I was gone, he went and told people, if you say anything, you're next,
Ooh.
or you're not going to get that raise. Oh yeah, it was a big deal. It was a really, because I was the North American education director for the West Coast at that time.
Oh, you were up
Right.
there.
And so when
Yeah.
I got fired, I got fired. It was great. You know what I mean? I didn't
Tell us
realize how
tell us
great it was until afterwards. You know what I mean? It's like when you get fired, you're kind of like, God, you're a dick. You know what I mean? Like, really? You just fired me? And then
your right-hand
once you go
man.
through and yeah, I was this guy's right hand man, and it was like once they let me go and I started doing all these other things, I was like, wow,
So what did
thank
you
God you let me go.
what did that firing look like? Walk us through that day you got fired. So you woke up thinking you were the man, you're the right-hand
Just another
man,
day.
you're solid, and then what
Yeah.
happened?
Then I go walking into the salon. The office was closed to me. The computer was closed to me. I was like, I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is happening here? And they were doing it in such a way to where I wasn't like really made aware of what was going on.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then when I questioned it, I go, I can't access my computer. Like, what's happening?
Mhm.
They were like, and I had clients that day, the owner comes walking in and goes, we're letting you go today. And I go, really? I go, okay. And I go, I'll tell you what, you're letting me go. I'm not going to say anything, but I need to go through and finish up all my paperwork. So I need to get paid. So I need to go through and turn all my per diems and shit like that in. I'm going to finish my clients and then I'm going to pack up my shit. I'm going to walk out the door.
Right.
Well, this is how it's going to work. And he was like, you're going to tell me? I go, yeah, this is what we're going to do today. Or else I'm going to walk out and just leave it behind. I'm like, and I'm going to leave you with all types of loose ends. I'm like, I'd rather get paid and walk out that door. Or, they also want me to go through and sign paperwork saying that I wouldn't give any trade secrets away. And I said, fine, bring me the paperwork, bring the lawyer in. bring the lawyer in. Let's sign all this stuff up, and they're paying these lawyers like $300-400 an hour, so I'm signing all the paperwork and I go, that you're firing me. So this is null and void, right? But I just wasted about $1,000 of your time.
I was gonna say that. I said,
Yeah.
how dumb and backward is that? You
I'm
have
telling
them
you.
sign that first. You don't fire them and then have them sign. I mean,
Oh yeah.
either way,
And-
right? They had the no compete clause where if you don't work here, you can't work within a 5 mile. I'm like, come on, sue me then,
yeah.
because I went right
Right.
around the corner.
Try it. Try it.
Exactly.
Try it. Funny thing of it is the
Mhm.
vice president of Bedhead TG right afterwards literally called me a week later trying to hire me back.
Wait, stop.
Yeah.
And what
And
did
I
that
said, really?
conversation?
If you want to hire, that conversation was like, you want to what? Yeah, I'll come back and work for you. Here's my list of demands.
There you go. There you go. Did you go back?
It didn't last long. No, because if I did go back, that meant that what everyone saw happen to me, that it was okay. That's
True.
why I said no.
Did you
That's
have
why I said
any
no.
did you have any allies around you at that time, or were you on an island by yourself?
By myself.
Really? Like, your
Totally by
hairdresser
myself.
buddies, your friends, you guys go have drinks
Gone.
together. Everybody
Gone.
was gone that day.
Weren't
Everybody.
allowed to talk to me. In
And
fact,
they
one of the art directors lived in my house and he came back to my house that day and he goes, this is what I was told. I can't talk to you. I can't say anything about you. Because he was having a transfer to go through and work at a different place to get a raise. You know what I mean? And they were like, listen, you're not going to get that if you say anything about Jason.
Damn. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you know what? I worked there and you are 100% right. That was the culture.
Oddly enough, I leave them off my resume now because no one knows who they are.
Oh, dang. You're
No
right.
one knows who they are anymore. When
You're
you
right.
mention things like I work, they know like, oh, I remember that Bedhead product line. They don't realize how huge it was back in the 90s. It was
Yeah.
massive.
And the early 2000s.
And
Yeah.
literally here we are 20 years later and no one knows who they are.
It's true. They're in
No one knows the
they're in
name.
CVS. They're
Yeah.
still in Cosmoprof, and I just think they're not relevant.
That's Unilever though. That's Unilever. That's not them anymore. That's
Okay.
Unilever that owns all that, So that's not
True,
them.
true.
They
It was
sold a
sold.
long time
Yeah.
ago. It
Yeah.
was sold, so that whole dream about like, oh, we're going to take everyone to the next level, all this education or whatnot. Where's it at now?
Gone.
They went from being like the top of their game
True.
to like nothing anymore.
It is true.
Absolutely nothing.
I
People
wonder
still
what
resonate with Vidal Sassoon.
Yes.
They know who that is and they respect
Mhm.
that name because he was a man to be respected.
And Paul
And that's
Mitchell.
the
I feel
difference.
Paul Mitchell still gets respect. I
But
hear
that's it.
that name
That's
still. Yeah.
right. But
Mhm.
that's that people resonate with that. They don't resonate with the other brand that we were part of.
What do you
And it
think
was
was
bigger than
the
they were.
demise? What was the demise, do you think? What was
Ego.
the turning point? Ego. Okay. Where's Anthony
Ego.
Mascolo now? Do you know?
He's doing well. He's in London. You know what I mean? I'm gonna reach out to him I want him on my show.
He's a
But
badass hairdresser.
hell yeah, he is.
To win British Hairdresser of the Year, the consecutive amount of times that he did, I feel that
They
is
had to stop it.
elite.
They
It's-
wouldn't allow him to go through and become and apply anymore because he won too many times. He was dominating the industry.
I believe
He
it.
was dominating that. So
His
yeah. So
cuts,
now he's
just watching him work was just like magical. It
Yeah.
honestly was. I still have a very high level of respect for the artistry. It was just the administration behind the artistry that I have a problem with.
when the money machine kicks in,
Mhm.
that's when the problem starts. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Money stifles creativity.
True that.
And it became like, what it became like doing shows. Well, how many scissors did you sell? How many courses did you sell? How
I
many?
know.
And I'm like, did you see the haircut I did? Did you notice it was, she was pretty. She came out pretty. And they're
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah, but how much did you sell? They didn't
Yep.
give a shit about the haircut.
Mhm. You
They want
know,
to know at the end of the
I
day
was
what you
such
sold afterwards.
it's true. I was such a selling machine, one of the top
Mhm.
retail, earners in the salon, because that's what you have to do to get your commission. You only got a small portion of it. I think it was like 10%, so you have to the more you sold, the better. But I
Right.
remember when I snapped when toward the end, when I just had this epiphany because one of my clients, she turned around and looked at me. She goes, she was in college and she goes, Kim, I really need product, but please don't sell me something I don't need. Please. I really and I literally, Jason,
Yeah.
that's when my heart, I was like, oh my God, yes, I am a machine. I don't even
Mhm.
care if you need it or not. That's really terrible, you know?
But that's why they
Mhm.
have all those add-on products. I
Mm,
mean, they were always like, you need to have at least the one add-on. It's the candy at the end of the grocery aisle. You don't
yes,
need it. They wanted
that's
to
true.
make you feel like you want it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So that's the
yeah.
trick.
Yeah, and you can't blame them, I guess, if that's how you're making your money off of retail. All right, Jason, we talked about the industry, but here's where I'm going to try to connect the dots.
Okay.
Um, because if we were trained inside of a system, which we've established, taught how to sell, how to consult, how to operate, then how much of what we're dealing with now is actually a result of that training? Like, are we creating the clients we complain about because of what we were taught to prioritize? Does that make sense? So we were
Yeah, but
taught,
if you
yeah.
if you're able to pull back the curtain and kind of see the
Mhm.
truth,
Mhm.
then you're no longer part of that. When you break away and you look back, because hindsight's always 2020.
Mhm.
And you can kind of see what you've done and you're willing to change it, that's when things change,
Mhm.
and that's one of the things that we talk about on our show. I'm actually interviewing a therapist who deals with hairdressing who's coming on my show again
Oh, how fun.
tomorrow. Yeah, because we do need therapy, you know what I
Yes, we
mean, with
do.
all the things that we deal with inside the hair
Mhm.
salon. And not
Mhm.
only that, some of the traumatic things that we went through as a hairdresser from the beginning to where you're at now,
That's
and
right.
seeing how that affects you and how that affects your career and your clientele and how you are with your clients. A lot of hairdressers don't look at it that way. They take it as a badge of honor being to go through all this stuff, and I go, no, you need to go through and actually look at it and learn from it and change it and make it better. Not,
Correct.
oh, I went through that shit. Just walk it off.
It's
We
true,
shouldn't have
and
had to go through that shit.
we should not have. I mean, we
No.
we we all contributed, in my opinion, to that toxic environment, because it was a culture. It was
Mhm.
part of the
Yeah.
culture, right? The more unfiltered you were, the cooler you were as a hairdresser, right? We
And
weren't
that was
taught
my job to bring you in. That was
pull
my
you
job.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a hairdresser named AK. He was the cool one for us.
I loved
Bald,
AK.
bald black
Oh,
guy. You know
I know
AK.
him. I know him very well.
Yes, he
Absolutely.
was cool breeze, had all the ladies, wore
Yep.
I mean, he was an anomaly in our salon, so funny. All right, let's jump over to your podcast because
Let's
I haven't seen every episode, but I have seen where, and based on the title, Should I Tell My Hairdresser, right? Let's take some
mhm.
of that energy because some of the clips I've seen, you guys are telling horror stories, client horror stories. So let me
Yeah.
ask you this. Have you ever had a client where you thought you don't need a damn haircut, you need therapy?
Oh, God, every 5 minutes, you know what I mean? It's like, are you kidding me? There's certain people that sit in your chair, you're just kinda like, "What is happening here?" And actually, we just talked about it, I wanna say a couple of months ago where I had a client come inside the salon, and out come the photos, and I'm not talking about on the phone, I'm talking
Uh-oh.
about, like, printed up on your HP.
Oh, wow.
Right, on your
Whoa.
printer,
Okay.
and she went through and was like, showing me these photos of herself from, like, 30 years ago, 10
Uh-huh.
years ago,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Okay," so she's showing me she wanted a combination of all 5 photos, but in one haircut,
And she has no
and
hair
I'm like,
left because she's in menopause.
and not only that, the facelifts too.
All of
So
it.
she's stretched out, Right.
Mhm.
So part of her hairline is gone now, but I want this. I'm like, that's not going to happen. And trying to explain to somebody that, then they go, well, do your best.
Right.
Okay. Coup de grace right there, isn't it? You know what I mean? You're like, oh, knife to the heart. Really? Do my best? I'm like,
Exactly. You're not gonna like
with
it.
what?
You're
Yeah.
not gonna like the outcome because it's not possible. So
Because the
do your
mental image they
best.
have in the mental image they have in their head is of them 30 years ago. I wish I
Uh-huh.
had my hair from 30 years ago.
So
I
do
don't.
I. So
Yeah,
do
I got
not.
3 hairs left. Thank God they're friends.
And
You know what
I
I mean?
and I
But
have a serious comb over just trying to do my best with my hairline. So I
yeah,
completely get
it's
it.
good.
Yeah.
It's going. It's
Don't lift
okay.
this curtain up. Like, woo,
Right.
no. It's scary under
But
there.
at the end, when we're going through, and you're thinking you have a handle on it,
Yes.
and all of a sudden it just takes another left turn at the end when you're blow drying their hair,
Yes.
and they're like, I asked for this. And I'm like, and I
Yeah.
told you couldn't have it.
I
I
don't
told
even
you you
I
couldn't
don't
have it.
even try anymore. I'm like, I have a client who thinks that it is possible for me to use products that will make her hair thicker. I'm like, I
Yes.
am not, there's nothing my cosmetology hairdresser hands can do that
Right.
can change what's happening internally. It is not
Nothing.
possible. I cannot put anything on topically that's going to suddenly make your hair thick. It's just not
Correct.
gonna happen. Your hair is thinning. That's a whole different
All the
issue.
product in the world is not going to make
Yes,
the hair growing out of your head thicker, different, or more coming back. You know what I mean?
it
You have to
definitely
go and
isn't.
see a doctor.
That,
I'm not
okay?
a doctor, but
Please
I
realize
tell
that.
this I tell this woman at the end that I'm definitely not the hairdresser for her. Her comeback is like, well, do you know someone better than you that can do my hair
Oh, don't not the
that you
better
can
than
refer
you.
me to? I was like, wow. I go,
Wow.
that's it. Click, get out.
Get out. And so you that was a one-time one and done. This was not a client, a
That's
long
what you
shot.
would think.
Oh,
So I walk her to the front and I didn't charge her for the haircut because you want to know what? It wasn't that I shouldn't have charged her for the haircut. I should have, but I didn't want to owe her anything. So I'm like, no charge.
I
We're
do that.
done. Do not come back to
I do
me.
that. Yes. Mhm. Yes.
5 weeks later, guess who's on my books?
Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. No.
Mhm. I
It was
walk up to the front. I didn't recognize the name because I'm thinking like, this can't be her. So I walk up, and when you're busy, you're not reading names, thinking like, oh, hey, this is that person. Especially if you've only seen them one time. So I walk up to the front and I go, whoa, brakes. What's happening here? I go, why are you here? She goes, well, I'm here to see you. I said, why? Oh, do you remember our last conversation? She goes, no. I go,
Yeah, you
oh.
do.
I go, listen, I didn't charge you for the haircut. She goes, yeah, I thought that was really strange. I go, oh, did you? Okay. So we're getting somewhere here. We've got some traction. Okay. All right. I'm like, so remember the conversation we had? I said, I don't want you coming back. No, I don't remember that at all. And then I started looking at her and I'm like, oh my God, are these beginning stages of dementia? Or, you know what I mean? You're like, what is happening here?
Something's weird.
But something's weird. Something's not off. And I felt bad. So I cut her hair again. So I couldn't put my finger on what the problem was, but I guarantee it wasn't me. And she was completely lying to me because she still comes in to get her color done to the salon and she avoids me from now on. So she knew what she was doing. She liked the haircut. She was trying to come back to me. I'm like, And I thought maybe he was dealing with someone maybe with dementia. No, she was
You
just
know
trying to go
what?
through and
And
just
I
pull
and
one on me. And I'm
I
like,
was gonna say, I think she thought, well, maybe I can get another free haircut. Wait a minute, that was free. Either that, or she's been kicked out of so many chairs that she's like,
yeah,
oh shit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, where else can I go from here? She knows she's sitting in a good hairdresser's chair. She knew that,
she knew.
and she knew what she was asking you was impossible. She also knew that because she's still walking
Absolutely.
around with pictures from 30 years ago asking for the impossible, you know?
Absolutely.
That's
So do
hilarious.
I do some people who do need professional help? Yeah, and I can't help
Ooh,
them. As much as hairdressers think they're therapists, we're not.
we are not. You know what still surprises me? How many stylists tell me they've never heard of Virtue Lab products. Found Virtue back in 2017 at a hair show, and I've been hooked ever since. I use it on myself, like this beautiful flourish right here. It's their hair thinning line. There's a full system. There's a shampoo, there's a conditioner, there's the density booster, one that's drug-free, and the other one that has minoxidil in it, which is amazing, you guys. If you haven't tried these products, please do. And it's one of the lines I actually stand behind as a professional. Here's why it's different. Virtue is the only hair care line in the world that uses human-derived keratin called alpha keratin 60 KU. Because it's human derived, your body recognizes it as its own and actually accepts it. We all want products that truly heal and repair hair, right? Not just make it shiny for a day. Virtue does that. It literally fills in the cracks in the damaged areas, strand by strand. So, you guys, trust me, you'll see results after one use, but after 5 washes, honey bunny, the hair will feel like a completely different head of hair. Soft, strong, and actually healthy. So if you're ready to stop masking damage and start repairing it, I know you're ready. Shop Virtue through my link today in the description. Support the show, support your hair. You'll thank me later. Bye. All right, next question. Have you ever faked liking a client just to keep the money?
Every day. Every day. You want to wait? Here's the thing. I like a lot of my clients. I like a lot of my clients, but not all of them.
I know.
At the end of the day, you guys, at the end of the day, we run a business. This is a business. When I go into my local little taco shop, the girl there, she doesn't know me, but you want to know what though? She's like the nicest person. She says hi. She has this big old, great big smile on her face, and she makes you feel good that you're there buying her tacos.
As she should.
And then you want to know what? Yeah, that's part of the business. We want you, but at the end of the day, when's the last time you had dinner with one of your clients?
I know.
I haven't.
Well, you know,
we're running a business.
One of the best pieces of advice that Jerry Watkins, my mentor, gave me.
I love Jerry.
Gave me way early on in my career. He said, because I had the best rapport with my clients. We were keying. Maybe I did go to drinks with some of them, whatever, right?
Sure.
He said, Kim, let me tell you something. I said, okay, your clients aren't your friends. And I said, okay. He said, I don't care how good of rapport you think you have. Mess up their hair and see how friendly they are. And that was the best thing he could have possibly ever said, because I pass that on to all of my mentees, and it is very true, because they will laugh and joke with you and compliment you and want to know all about you. But remember why they're sitting there. It's to get their hair done, not to hear about your weekend.
Wait till you charge them for a missed appointment and they lose their shit on that, because we're friends, right?
Yes. I mean, you're going to charge
we're
me.
Friends.
You're going to charge
I'm sick.
me a cancellation fee.
Yeah. I mean, really? I'm like, yeah, because I'm running a bit. You're not my friend. I'm running a business. And if you were my friend, you would not only pay me, but you'd tip me on top of it for that missed appointment, because you want to see me succeed.
And that's what my actual friends do. They are the best clients, your actual friends.
Yes. And they pay you what you're worth, not a discount, what you're worth. You know?
And I always tell my friends, I have one friend who I don't really even talk to anymore, but she said, well, how much are you going to charge me? Emphasis on me. I said, I'm going to charge you what I charge. And I think she was offended. And so my response to her was, do you take a pay cut for me at your job?
Yeah.
That was it. She never asked me again and never asked me to do her hair again. I'm like, good. You don't go to work and say, I'm not going to get paid for 3 hours because of you. You still get your full paycheck, correct?
Yeah. They don't get it,
Mm-hmm. I know.
But not only that though, I always ask people who ask me for a discount. So what kind of discount can I get at your job? What can you give me? They look at me like, huh? Like I, for some reason, should be so elated to go through and do their hair, especially at a discount for some reason. Like, oh, we were going to come to you, but I wanted a discount price. I go, oh, no, absolutely not.
How about no? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Jason.
And when they ask me why, I go, no. No is a complete sentence. N-O, period. Done. I don't owe you an explanation.
You know what? You stand on business. I like that.
Yep.
They got to respect that too, right? And that's another reason too. I don't do trades, barters, none of that. I'm like, it never equals out. It's never equal. If you do massage, if you do nails, if you do eyebrows, whatever, it's never going to level up. Never.
I pay for my own haircuts. I pay for my haircut because I go through and I know what that person's worth and I pay them full. And I also tip them 50%. You want to know why? I'm in the same industry.
Yeah.
And I like my haircuts. And I like the guy who does it. I take care of him.
Respect. Mad respect. I'm sure he appreciates that. All right. What's the most manipulative thing a client has done in your chair?
Oh, the gaslighting never stops. You know what I mean? That's just a thing. I think for some reason, like we were saying earlier, it's like clients want to make you think that you owe them something because of who they are, and normally it's the people who are like not even like at the top of their game. It's the people who are just have the sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
Who want to show up late, want to show up on their time, on their terms, And I think the most manipulative thing that people can do is make you think that they are better than you.
Do you have a particular story of a particular client who would be the most manipulative?
No, because I think that it's not really with the clients. It's more the hairstylists around you that are more like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think hairstylists around, they always want to make sure that they are always perceived as the best in their game. And they're better than you. They make more money than you, or,
Have you ever had a hairstylist poach?
Oh, yeah. I had a guy when I worked at Chris McMillan. I might as well just say this because we're on here, but I had a celebrity client who was coming in, and back at his shop, we never used computer. We actually were like paper and pencil.
Okay.
And he would have the old schedule books out and write the names in.
Oh,
right.
Like
and
the
he
old
saw this
appointment
person.
book. Yeah.
Yeah. He erased it off of my books and put it on his books.
Oh, because he was a celebrity.
Yeah. And he wanted to know why I was getting these celebrity clients. And I was just kind of like, because they were referred to me. Like the salon didn't give it to me. Someone actually referred James Spader to me as a client. And so he was coming. So when he came inside the salon, he goes, I'm here to see Jason. They said, oh, no, we have you with like Ryan. And he's like, no, I'm here to see Jason. And then, of course, I didn't know what was going on. So I go walking up to the front because he comes and gets me. And I'm like, what's going on? And they go, so Ryan goes like, hey, I'm the one doing his hair today. And I said who? And then you can see on the paper where it's been erased.
Oh, my God.
And so we put 2 and 2 together. Right. That's what cocaine does.
Facts. Yes.
Right.
Cocaine. Yeah. When you're spaced out of your head. Yeah. You think you rule the world, don't you? So
he made house calls now.
Oh.
Yeah. He quit coming to the salon. He got tired of coming to the salon. He said, no, if this is the way you guys are going to go through and do things here, you come to my house. I'm like, all right. So then I started keeping 100% of the money instead of 50% of the money. So
you know what?
Backfired on that.
I mean, dog eat dog in these hairdressing streets. My goodness. And it's amazing how as a salon owner, you wouldn't just take that as just a notch under your belt that you have a stylist in your salon bringing in celebrity clients, but the greed behind and that unilateral decision that, oh yeah, I am. Therefore,
the owner did that. He would walk over to the client and go, do you know who I am? I should be the one doing your hair. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
You
So
cannot be serious.
this type of behavior is learned. You know what I mean? It's like it's learned. That's LA. When people ask me why I moved in LA, I said, because I lived in LA. They go, no, no, no. Why'd you move? I said, because I lived in LA. That's why I moved.
The world of pretense, fakery.
You know? Yeah.
Hmm.
You get a little bit older and you're like, I'm done with this shit. I'd rather go somewhere where it's real. And that's why I moved to Seattle, and my clients appreciate me.
I love that.
And I love it. I absolutely love it.
You know, I haven't had as big of celebrities as you probably had in Beverly Hills, but I did have a very the wives of, right? Or, you know, a very
Yeah.
high profile husband clientele,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And I will take a full clientele of people that work at Intel over
Yep.
a full celebrity clientele any day of the week. I mean,
It
if you want to
really
build
depends
the
on who they are, though. You know what I mean?
no,
Because
it does. I mean, and I will say, let me back up. I have the best and the worst of that world, right? But what when I say that, it's not necessarily the person themselves always. It's that okay, so you have a whole clientele full of wives of athletes and then they get traded. I had
yep.
a 5-person trade and literally lost all 5 of these people in one
Yeah.
day. You know what I mean? It's so
Yeah.
revolving that you really, I mean, you have a home run and then you can't get to first base. Then you have a home run and then versus consistency. That's what I mean.
Yeah. But you want to know what those I do get a lot of the sports players and their wives, the Seahawks, and I get the Kraken and Mariners and to my chair as well though too. And you also get though, you get the PR person from the Seahawks coming in who still has their job.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you'll see them move away and you're like, oh man, because they'll
Yeah.
get traded. But then
Mhm.
yet you also kind of pick up on the back end of it well
It's
too.
true.
That's kind of
And you
LA.
get perks.
Yeah. Oh,
Perks are
yeah,
nice.
you do.
And perks are
That's
nice.
true. Perks are very, very nice on
But
that. You know,
but
my son loves football. So, yeah, we get a lot of perks,
but
especially
the
because we just won the
athletes
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, yeah,
Yeah, we just won. So,
the athletes' wives of today, though, they have an
mm.
assistant who has an assistant who has an assistant. I mean, it is crazy. I don't it's
The
just
athlete's wife is a business
I know.
because we just went through all that with
Yep,
everything that was happening with the Super Bowl. And
yep.
let me tell you, their schedule was tight, tight, tight.
Yes, yes.
You know, so I was dealing with their wives and then they're like texting me back and I get like PAs texting me and it's like, we need this done for this. And we have this commercial coming up or this event coming up. And it was like, then they all scooted over to San Francisco. You know,
Yep.
I'm like, you got to get someone down there. I can't come down there.
Yeah.
There's just no way in hell, you know,
Yeah, it's a lot.
but
Uh,
it
mhm.
is a lot.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna move away from you being on the hot seat. You answered those questions beautifully and honestly, as I
Yeah.
knew you would. So let's jump into money just for a hot second because off camera we talked a lot about what other platforms are doing, teaching hairdressers about money and building the business. You know, there's so
Yeah.
many now, which is so great for today's hairdressers. But yet and still, my question for you, why are hairdressers still broke in 2026? Like, how is that possible? Because they are.
They are. They are because a lot the thing of it though is that I've done my research on this and I've talked to a lot of people
Mm.
and a lot of hairdressers who have been part of these programs. And I would say probably close to 80% of them are bullshit.
Really?
You have to read the fine print. And let me tell you,
Okay.
you can see their followers on Instagram and I don't know if you noticed, but their followers, these huge following, all these people following them.
Mhm.
Look at how many people are liking their content because you can buy that now. You can buy the followers. And so it looks like these big brands are going through and they have all these followers and everyone's like, you know, following them. They're doing all that. But a lot of the times they're not. They're
Well,
just
they
selling an
say
online course.
if it doesn't match the likes and I mean, you can buy everything now. That's scary. But you know
You
what?
can
These
buy your likes on that
platform
too.
these platforms don't like that. They will what if they ever find out, they'll just take them.
Yeah. They'll take you off. That's for sure.
Mhm.
but there are sneaky ways of going through and doing it. So you do it for a little while, then you stop a little and see what works. So I have seen that. So I would say the majority of the platforms that are out there, they're not even real. Find out if people are actually working inside of a hair salon or if they're actually doing what they say they're actually doing. Because a lot of people just put a course out there, and they'll use ChatGPT to kind of blow them up, make them look like they're actually
Mhm.
doing something, and it's all bullshit. But I think a lot of hairdressers aren't making the money because they're not putting themselves out there and actually learning. They're going
Right.
to like YouTube University
Mhm.
and they
Mhm.
think they're learning from there.
Yeah.
And then when they go through and they do the actual haircut or the color is not coming out right, it's because they never actually had the training.
Right. You gotta
You know,
get in there hands on.
you have to have another person there to teach you hands on.
Mhm.
That's how we learn. I was just listening to someone because my wife's actually a school teacher.
Mm.
And I don't know if you've seen on the news, but they have the new robot that's going to be teaching kids now that the first lady just came out with. I
I've
was like
not seen
shaking my
that.
head.
I've not seen it.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're pushing this narrative of like AI and robots going to be the new teachers. No, they're not because people learn from other people. A robot's
Mhm.
never made the mistake, a human has. And
True.
we learn from making mistakes and we can show you what happened on that mistake and why it happened. A robot cannot.
That's
And
true.
you're not learning on laptops because people skim when they're on laptops. They're not learning. Then when you're actually having a physical person in front of them and actually walking them through it, that's how you learn. So a robot can't say like, "Hey, your body position's off." They don't know.
Uh-huh.
They say cut the line this way. Or if you color it this way, this is what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Say, okay, well, in on paper, that's exactly what's going to happen. But the robot doesn't know that the person's lied to them. They've been using box color on their hair. They have
Yes.
heart medication. They have
Yes.
hormone therapy. They have
Mhm.
a person who's actually lived through it and can see what's happening can actually go through and teach you that.
It's true.
Not YouTube, not the computer, not you have to invest in yourself to make yourself better. That's how you're going to go through and make the money.
And a lot of people are skipping past apprenticeship and going straight
Absolutely.
into like the studio or what have you. And it's like, or to your point, they're trying to learn on TikTok.
Yeah,
These snackable little bites. That's not, you
that's not
need to,
education.
yeah, you need to physically work under someone and watch them make the mistake in real time and show you how, conflict and resolution, right? Show you how to correct that
Mhm.
mistake so that you don't do it again. I mean,
Correct.
scary.
It's like drumming. You can't just go through and watch someone. My son's doing drumming right now. He's taking classes, been doing it for an entire year,
Ooh,
and
that
I'm
must be
watching
amazing
his
in your house.
oh my well, we do it
You
there.
have
Yeah, I know.
padded walls.
Headphones.
Headphones.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But the thing about those that they have to start off and showing them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to start that way before you start with the combinations. You
Yeah.
know, you and with hairdressing, you have to immerse yourself. Like music, you have to immerse yourself in it. You have to learn it, and that's what I did. I immersed myself. I became an assistant. And then I went through and I worked at the academy. I assisted there. I made sure that those floors were clean, that trash was taken out, and that place was fucking spotless. So those
Yes.
teachers would teach
Mhm.
and then I went on to go and work for free at the academy. I remember a girl saying, like, she told me, she was like, I would never go through and work somewhere for free for 3 days a week and then works at a salon.
Yeah.
I would never do that. And I go, then you'll never be where I'm at.
Yeah, that's invaluable. That doesn't have a price tag.
No.
That knowledge, that experience, that connection, all of it, that relationship, priceless.
Right. Well, here's the
No.
thing though. I mean,
Mhm.
you can go to a teacher and they're going to teach you how to go through and do those haircuts. All right. But if you want a mentor who's going to carry you
Yeah.
all the way through it, you got to go through and give your heart and soul. You know what I mean? But make sure you pick the right mentor.
Well, that's the other part. You gotta pick the right mentor, and these young people, they don't wanna do anything unless they're getting paid. I have a
Right.
client who's a surgeon, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, Kim, my world, the new school under me, she said, I got ready. I did a surgery the other day and I said, you're probably never going to see this ever again in your career. Like, she said, when I was a resident, I would have been just geeked up, like, oh my God.
Yeah,
But
totally.
they were like, no, we're off at 5. And it says you can't work past certain, right? Because they put a limit on how many hours.
Wow.
And so, nope, she said every single one of them clocked out. And she was just like, wow,
Yeah.
this is the future.
Yeah.
Scary. Yeah.
It really is. You know what I mean? It's like
Hmm.
but that no one wants to put in the work anymore.
Yeah. That's right. They don't, because
They don't.
no, and you have companies, they're not loyal to people anymore. So people,
No.
the faith is gone. Everybody wants to get things done as quickly as possible. To your point, using Chat GPT to be them in place of them. It's supposed to
Yeah,
be a tool, not you. Because
exactly.
if everything you're doing is AI, then what do we need you for? Anybody can type
Exactly.
in or prompt, or I know that the magic is in the way you prompt, but still you could tell. I mean,
Yeah.
take the damn dash out. Why don't you? I mean, at least be
We see your
smart
hyphen.
about it. We see it. It's like like screaming. If you see the
Yep.
word real, take it out. Like,
Yep.
come on. All right, Jason, thank you for your time today. I could literally ramble forever and ever and ever,
Oh,
because
absolutely. Me too.
behind the chair conversations are what I love the most. On my podcast, I love games, love, love, love. So I'm going to
Oh.
play one of my games with you today. This one I'm calling Confess or Pass. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna give you a
I
scenario.
did it. I did it.
You did it. You're gonna
I
confess. You're
did
like,
it.
yep, yep. I don't think you're gonna pass. And even if you do, I'm gonna shade you and you're gonna have to answer anyway. Okay.
Hell yeah.
All right. So here we go. I'm gonna feed you the scenario and you're either gonna confess or pass. That
Okay.
is all right. All right. You've talked shit about a client the second they walked out the door.
Hmm.
Yes,
Yes.
you have.
Oh, hell yeah. Are you kidding me? I'm taking pictures. You know what I
I
mean?
want
I'm like showing to
okay.
everyone.
Okay, give us a story.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like talking shit about them. That's the easy part because every hairdresser does that. You know
Fact.
what I mean? I want to take it to the next level and something I've actually done. All right, which is this is a confession that I haven't told anybody since it happened. This happened like 20 years ago at the
Okay.
Toni Guy in Newport Beach, and I had a client sitting in my chair who just never shut up. She was just like, I don't know if it's anxiety or whatever it was, but it was just like I just couldn't handle her, and I was just tired of it. And I was about to blow dry her hair. I'm putting gel inside of her hair. My assistant went and grabbed the gel, and I'm applying it in my hand. And as it comes out, a bug lands into the gel.
Oh shit.
And I look down, I look at my assistant, and I took it and went, wiped it straight into her hair. I was like, I can't stand you. And it just went right into her hair. And it stayed inside there because it was like stuck with the gel. And as I'm blow drying the hair, because I go from wet to dry when I blow
Yes.
dry, right?
Yes,
So I do
same.
old school, right? And as I got to the part where the bug was, it was like a little cremation happened, a little tuff of smoke kind of went into the air. And my assistant and I started dying laughing.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Have fun.
So
I
I took it a
love
step
that.
further and I confessed something that I don't think he and I are the only ones that knew about what happened that day. So now everyone else knows.
Well, you heard it here first. I love a good confess. Oh my God. I love you so much for that story. That's amazing. Okay, here's another one.
Yeah.
You've pretended to like a result that you actually hated.
Yes,
Tell us.
totally. So I have a guy who comes in who's this total tech geek and he's like losing his hair, but he likes it to be a certain way. And he likes it where it's all one length. It's like a bob, but he's like this middle-aged man. right,
Right.
with like, glasses, and he has this bob and this thin hair, and he likes it flat ironed out, and
No.
he looks like Lord Farquaad when he walks out. And I had to look. I walk him out the door, and I'm looking at everyone inside the salon, going, "Don't you fucking judge me! I can see you judging me. Don't judge me."
Oh my god.
And I pretend like it's like I like it. I
Oh.
go, "Oh yeah, oh, looks great, yeah." That's what he wants. And it literally takes me all of like a minute to do. I just put that line in, flat iron it out, and off he goes. And here's like $200 later. Thanks, Bal. I'm like,
And he's like, "Thank you."
oh, he loves it. He
Oh my god.
loves it. The only thing he
Isn't
needs
that
is wind machines blowing it around him, blow his hair around.
oh,
His
okay,
3
Beyonce.
hairs.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And isn't that just like when you watch them walk away from your chair, you're like looking around like, please, nobody look. Like, you know what I
Oh,
mean? Just
yeah.
he didn't come for me. Like, just keep going. All right,
Oh,
Jason.
I just walked back with my hand up in the air going, "Don't, don't,
Don't
don't, don't, don't."
y'all already know.
Yeah,
Okay. You've judged a client before they even sat in your chair.
absolutely.
Tell
Every
us.
single one of them.
Oh,
Every single one of them. I always have a prejudgment in my head with the new clients. Because
so
you look at their clothes, you look at the way that they're dressed, you know what I mean? And you're kind of like, you're sizing them up
yeah,
but in our industry, we kind of have to do that because we
yeah.
need to know with their style, how far can we go through and we can push it with that hairstyle or, what we're doing.
Hmm.
So I do kind of prejudge them as soon as they kind of when they walk into the door, but I always kind of like, I always Google them ahead of time too, so I know who's
Oh,
coming in and sitting in my chair. Cause I've had made that mistake. I was a client sits in my chair and I'm talking to him and he goes, "Oh, what'd you do this weekend?" I said, "Oh God, we went and saw Ocean's 13." Cause I liked the first, of the franchise. And we saw, I'm thinking like, oh, this is a great cast. You have like Al Pacino in this film. We went and saw it. Worst fucking film I've seen. I'm like, man, I want like 2 hours of my life back. And he looks at me and goes, "Can't win them all."
because he.
What? Own the franchise.
Oh no.
He produced the movie. He did
Oh.
all the Ocean's movies. And I'm like, shit. He goes, "Can't
Oh.
win them all." I
I
cut his
mean, I
hair
said
until I
what I
left
said.
LA. I cut his hair the entire time I was in LA because he knew I wasn't going to lie to him.
I
But oh my
mean,
God, I
talk
walked up to
about
the front
going like
desk
wanting
and
to
I go,
shove it back.
oh, yeah. I go, "You need to Google everyone that sits in my chair." And now I do. So I know what to say, what not to say, because you never know who's going to sit in your chair. I've still signed NDAs here in Seattle.
Wow.
Because I have people who are going to be sitting in my chair, or I'm going there to do their hair, and I can't talk about it. Because you see some shit, you hear some shit, and you can't. And like right now, these people are very relevant in the news right now, very relevant.
Mm. You know,
You
it's
know,
it's it's not as fun doing celebrity hair anymore for that reason, and they do have to protect themselves because of social
yeah,
media, right? And
mhm.
exposure. And I worked with Mindy Kaling and a couple of years ago, and the NDA. All I can say is I worked with Mindy Kaling.
I can't even mention the names. I can't even mention the names.
And
Because if
so
I do,
you
not
don't
only
get to
that, though,
put that on your,
no,
your I
can't
know.
put it on the resume. Can't. And
Kind
that's
of
okay.
stinks.
But you
Hmm.
want to know what though? The people that work around them, they tell other people
Okay.
who's done that person's hair, and I
Okay.
get clients from that way.
That's what you need.
Because Seattle's very low key when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I do get a lot of people from that, even though I went and did it. But the threat level to that person's life is very high. So
Yeah.
you can't say. But not only that, though, you have to think of like, what's the threat level to me? If someone
Right.
finds out that I'm going through and doing something, I know where to get in. What are the codes? That they do change all the time before you get into the building, but who is also the security person that you're meeting with every single time?
Okay, you've just baited all of us, but that's okay. We'll let you slide.
You know.
Okay. I'm like, "Who?" All right, so here's another one. You've seen another stylist work and thought, "Your client's hair looks like shit."
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I totally have. And I'm talking like even like people charging $300 a haircut. I'm going over going, what in the fuck did you do to her? You
I know
know,
you're not gonna tell us any names, but because 'cause you're still in the industry. It's probably somebody that works in your salon.
no, not in
No.
my salon right now. I mean, I'm
Okay.
talking like, in LA where you're coming into a Beverly Hills
Um
shop and you're watching something walk out. And you're like, oh, what the fuck was that? Don't get me wrong, I can't win them all, and I'm not for everybody. And there's people that probably have gone to me going like, wow, what the hell was that shit? I
Uh-huh,
don't know. I
uh-huh.
mean, I wouldn't be surprised that I can't be surprised. I know there's other people out there that just don't like me, and that's okay. I'm
Yeah,
not for everyone.
right.
I can't be. You
It's
can't be that
impossible.
hairdresser that it's absolutely impossible.
Mhm, mhm.
I hate curry. You might like it. That's okay, but that's your taste.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm not everyone's freaking, cup of tea. And I know that. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just got to
Yeah, and
find the ones that like you and keep them happy.
you
That's it.
do, and I my mantra has always been, "I don't worry about who's not in my chair, I cater to the ones who are."
Yep.
And I just stand by that. I don't care. If you're not here, if you're in my chair, I'm unhappy, you're unhappy. So why?
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right,
You
you've
know,
looked at someone's inspiration photo and thought to yourself, "You're not how do I say this? You're not good looking enough to rock this look."
yeah, I thought it. I haven't said it out
Oh,
loud,
you didn't say it, but you could say it to us.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. Absolutely. You know what I mean? It's like,
But do you do the
you
cut
know,
anyway?
no, no,
You
absolutely not. I will
don't.
not
Okay.
do that haircut. Absolutely not. That is one thing that drives me crazy is when a client will go through and talk to a hairstylist and they'll show them a photo and they go, okay, let's get you shampooed. And then give them nowhere near what they showed them,
True.
or you could actually take the high road and say like, okay, I see what you're looking for. Let's make it work for you now.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you pull that hair back and you show them their face and you say, here's what we're going to do with this haircut, 9 times out of 10, that photo fades away. And then you are forward. Your idea becomes forward and becomes the focal point from that point,
Yeah. Very
and
true.
then you're the one that they trust and they believe now. The
Mhm.
photo is completely forgotten about. Now
Mhm.
you're pointing out like we need to bring out the eyes, or we need to go through and bring out your lips, or we need to soften down the jawline. And
Mhm.
here's what we're going to do and why we're going to do it. And here's the focal points we want to do of your face, you know. And we're here to solve a problem.
Exactly. You're
You know what
the
I mean? That's the
professional.
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to solve that problem for them. They found the inspiration. You know what they're kind of gearing up for and what they want, but 9 times out of 10, they can't have it. So it's about making them as pretty as you can possibly make them.
Exactly.
Even though you're going through and you're polishing a turd. It is what it is.
That is true, and
Hate me if you want to. No, a lot of people do.
you're like, "To know me is to love me," though, I'll tell you that. I
Telling you.
know I had a client once who she has a pretty face, but her head is just huge. She has a big head,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So, she brought in Halle Berry like every other person, and when
Uh-huh.
Halle Berry was super short, and she goes, how and her hair was to here, "How about we just cut it all off where it's just all face?"
Ooh.
I'm like, "No." I said, "We're gonna
Yeah.
have to leave a bang. We're gonna have to leave. We can't you have a pretty face, but this
Yeah.
cut, honestly, is not gonna serve you. It's not gonna give you your best outcome." And she
You
appreciated
got
that. She's still my
that
client,
exactly. Yeah.
you
You just got to
know?
be honest with them. You know what I mean? It's like,
Mhm.
do you want to look like a thumb? Because I can make you look like a thumb. Yeah, I look like a thumb. My barber like messed me up. I had an old barber mess me up. I look like a thumb. It's like,
You're like,
don't make him look like
thumb
a
it
thumb.
is." Okay,
Yeah,
okay, last one, okay, and you have to answer this one.
got it.
I know you will.
Bet. You got me.
You've known something shady was happening in the industry and you stayed
Mm.
quiet.
Yeah, I've done that.
Did
Yeah,
you
I've
can
done
you
that.
share what was shady?
Diversity within the company when I worked for
Ooh.
Toni and Guy, I kept quiet about it because I was told to,
Say
because I
more,
knew
say more.
when before Bedhead was sold, the products being diverted were coming from the owner. And what ended up happening, so one of the distributors out of it was Colorado, he was diverting product over to Target because they the company was pressuring him to sell more, and if he didn't hit his certain numbers that they had for him, they were going to take the product line to his competitors, and he'd be losing out on all that money. So what he did is he found Target, who would actually take the product from him because he was a distributor, and sell it on their shelves. And so he all of a sudden started making all these numbers happen. Right. Well, when the owner of Bedhead went through and tried to sell to Target because he was trying to up his numbers to sell the product line, they said, "Oh, we're already getting it from one of your distributors." And he goes, "What?"
Oh.
Right. And I was friends with the distributor at the time, and I was told to keep my mouth shut about what was going on because now in the contract from the distributor saying that they weren't going to divert. But I found out that the owner was diverting and selling to Costco, selling to Target, selling to all these like retail chains. And they were turning around suing him. But if they found out that they were the ones also doing it, the lawsuit would have fallen flat. And thank God it did fall flat because they did find out.
Oh,
Because how did
dang.
he found out? Right, the lawsuit it fell flat. Thank God, because he was a really good guy. But he was under the gun. He's trying to provide for his family, and you have someone saying, "Sell more, sell more, sell more."
Yeah,
Otherwise, we're ripping the rug from underneath you. So what do? You're
yeah,
providing for your family. You find different ways to sell more,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
the same people were going through and selling to Costco, like the
Mhm,
owner. And I found out because I was at the corporate office all the time at this point. We were
mhm.
going there for meetings, in Dallas, Texas. And some of the people that worked in the warehouse were telling us that there was shampoo being brought in and they had separate labels that it wasn't bedhead shampoo. It was just like the cheapest stuff you could possibly find from the manufacturer. They were slapping bedhead on it and then selling it to Costco. Yep. So everyone's like, "Oh, I'll go get my bedhead at Costco." No, you're getting your Pert Plus at Costco with bedhead's name on it.
Damn.
And that's why I'm saying the quiet parts out loud now, because back then I kept my mouth shut because it was my money.
Oh, yeah,
Unfortunately,
you could be
back then it
blackballed
was.
forever. Yeah, you didn't
Yeah.
have sounding boards like we have now. We can create our
No.
own world. We can just start a channel and
Yep.
create our own community, and we couldn't do that then,
No.
you
Because
know?
how you like me now? Tell me. You know what I mean? I
Look
don't
at
care.
you, look at you. I love
How
it.
you like, I'm
I
like,
love it.
tell me. I could care less. Give me your worst
I'll
because you'll
take it.
see me at my best after that.
Ooh, and on that note, that is a mic drop moment. Jason, your podcast is called Shit, I Told My Hairdresser or The
That's
Shit?
it. No, just shit. I told my
Shit, I
hairdresser.
Told My Hairdresser. Where can my audience listening find you?
Everywhere. I'm on Apple, Spotify, Castbox, you name it. I'm on that platform. So just go through and Google "Should I Tell My Hairdresser?" and we pop up.
All righty. Are you on YouTube?
Not yet. We're getting there.
Okay. All right.
I have a few things on YouTube, but the videos now starting popping up, especially with
Okay.
Apple Podcasts and start doing video. So we're coming.
Okay,
We're starting
perfect.
doing video.
And if you're not already part of this community, Trendy with Kim Allison, go ahead and subscribe, follow, do all the things. It helps the show grow and makes me smile in particular. All right, Jason, thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.